Welcome to the Content Supply Podcast. I'm Dallin Need, and each episode we bring you an inspiring brand, creator, or message to help you discover how you can experience success in your business as we unpack stories and strategies about all things content and growing a successful brand. So this is just a whole discovery process for all of us. We feature a variety of different brands on the show, from entrepreneurs, entertainers, copywriters, marketers, coaches, athletes, to designers, filmmakers, photographers, and many more. All brand owners, all creators. So it's my belief, as with many others, that every company is a content company and has to be one to stay relevant and competitive. Because let's be honest, the internet is so full of brands that it can be very easy to get lost in the crowd. So quality and effective content really separates you. That's why Content Supply was created, to supply brands with ongoing custom content so they can engage with their customers by providing value, telling stories, and making more sales. And when we say content, I'm talking about video and audio and written or image, all and everything in between, all those. Content creation and building a business is really hard. You never finish the building and creating. Even after you experience some success, you have to keep going on the journey. Content Supply was created to be a resource, a community, and a solution to fill that large gap of content. So thanks for joining the show. Now let's get to the interview. All right, so on the show today, we have Peter Gregory. He is the digital marketer and founder behind Four Chord Digital Marketing. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the About Us, a synopsis version from his website. So Peter says that at Four Chord, they specialize in both organic and paid search marketing to give a more holistic approach to the search marketing space. They think a strong strategy revolves around a healthy mix of paid and organic search, as well as the many other digital spaces such as social media, email marketing, display banners, and retargeting, to name a few. They get in front of the eyeballs that are searching for what you offer. So I literally just read that verbatim, minus switching out the we to they from their website. But that's really what it is. Peter is a very smart guy who's really doing well with local business advertising. That is his big focus. And what he talks about in our podcast, which is really, really fascinating, is the number crunching and the data side of digital marketing. Something that many can overlook by focusing just on what's on the outside versus what's underneath the hood. And so he really digs in deeper a little bit into this, but he does more so in what he services and provides to his clients. And so without further ado, let's get into the interview. First off, just thanks for joining today. Seriously.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm excited.
Awesome. And so tell me, give me like a quick overview of Peter Gregory. Tell me about your brand. And
Okay, yeah. So in the end of 2015, I started my own digital marketing company called Four Chord Digital Marketing. Love music, so kind of incorporate. I really wanted it to be more about me, and the Four Chord, kind of came from like the basics of a ton of songs, are based around kind of like a fundamental four chords. And there's obviously a lot more stuff to be done with that, but that's like the same thing, kind of my philosophy in marketing and digital marketing in particular. There's a lot of people who like hear the terms SEO and they freak out about it, or they don't really understand it quite well. And, and really it comes down to the fundamentals of marketing, the basics of real basics of marketing. And then you're just doing it from a digital standpoint. And so that was kind of the synergy there behind that. Wanted to be very much me, and my love of music kind of pulled into that. So that's where I decided on the name. And ever since then, it's been going really well. I have a wide range of clients from lawyers to a lot of home service, HVAC, window companies, solar installation companies, do some e-commerce as well. But a lot of stuff on the local businesses. I like the local small, medium-sized businesses, kind of helping them navigate their way through the digital world. And rather than focusing on all these crazy numbers and, technically difficult things for them to understand, is really like focus on the one thing almost every business owner cares about, and the ROI. How much money am I spending to get, X amount of dollars? So, and making sure it makes sense for them. So that really was my whole drive behind it all, because there's tons of different, there's so many different metrics that I look at on a daily basis, as far as traffic, where we're getting the traffic, how do we generate traffic? But at the end of the day, is it doing anything? Are the eyeballs that we're going in front of, are they actually going to pay for the service that they're selling? And how does it make them money at the end of the day? So I can go over all the metrics with them all day long, but half the time they don't really care. What they really care is like, oh, I've given you $100. I need to make $1,000 with that $100,
Well, and that leads me to a great question too, where that obviously applies to your certain areas of digital marketing. But let's say on the content side, where you're creating blogs or videos or images, how do you work with a brand to identify what the content ROI is? So let's say a brand invests $1,000 a month in content, and how do you guarantee that they'll get $10, $20, $30,000 in return?
Well, it's kind of more looking at like an overall piece of the pie, the whole digital marketing pie. Like the content is critical for it, because if the content's not good enough, people aren't going to, use it. Now, it's hard to necessarily put a specific dollar amount to, oh, this piece of content made us X amount of dollars, unless it was specifically made, like a video made for an ad service that we know we can actually track and see, okay, how many times that was viewed. After the view, they actually clicked over to the service and bought. But people don't really do, it's not like last click attribution anymore for a lot of this stuff. It's just part of the funnel. And if you look at, it's crazy how much you'll see, oh, okay, this piece of content was viewed, and then they read this, and then they saw an ad, then they saw a display banner, and then because we pixeled them now, and now we're following them around, retargeting ads, and now they went to the Facebook page, and so people are absorbing content so many different ways. But is that Facebook ad going to necessarily have a great specific ROI from being like the last click that somebody did? And no, probably not, because most people are on Facebook and in social media stuff to socialize, they're not in buying mode. Now, if they're searching for something in Google, they're more directly looking for, something that they're probably more likely to buy. So if you don't look at it as an overall picture, you may say, oh, that Facebook advertising is not working. Well, no, it was. If you look at in the funnel of everything, it's almost like a billboard, buy. Like somebody's, but it's more targeted, because at least they've already searched out for what they're looking for, and now you're just reminding them, hey, remember you needed this locksmith service, the other day. You still need it? Okay. That gives it's like it's extremely targeted billboard. It's still there. It keeps the brand top of mind. I think there are some other ways we can measure also, specifically content that's like text and video links, where we specifically on the SEO side, when we're looking to do basically outreach and build links to the site, because it's like the foundations kind of SEO are obviously content, the on-site SEO stuff, and then making sure that you're getting other websites to link to you. Well, how many places people are going to link to you? You don't know them from anybody, and you contact them and say, hey, link to my site because it's so great. No, you have to provide some actually really killer content for them to want to link to you. And then you have to make it known that this content exists. So you can start, there are some metrics there, like, okay, we create this really kick-ass piece of content that is a great resource page, and it would be great for children looking at astronomy or something. We're contacting teachers and people that have websites that that would potentially link to this, because it's actually a good piece of content. It's really critical that.
So how do you make that killer piece of content? So I mean, you speak about that too online. I mean, there's a local level, and obviously there's a more global level when you're on you're based online. Mm-hmm. There's a mixture of data. There's a mixture of creative. How do you qualify and quantify content that's killer, that's effective and impactful?
Well, I like specifically resource pages are really, really good, especially when going after trying to go after authoritative links. So a page that has good content on it, but also links out to a lot of great resources. Like, so if it was something about, I was trying to have some cool angle about, you know, what you're going about, but then also have like specific links to NASA's of the world, all the, you know, the top thought leaders and whatever piece of content it's about, you know, like it just really encompass not just text, make sure, you know, include imagery, infographics, videos. Just the more robust you can build it out, the better. People are going to stay on that page longer. They're going to find it more interesting. And then people, like, you know, everybody's different. I prefer to read, but a lot of people don't like to read. They'd much rather watch a video or look at an infographic of it. And, you know, those things are also easily shareable, especially on our landscape now where you have, you know, places like Reddit and all over the place. Like, you know, things can go viral actually very quickly without a whole lot of effort sometimes, you know, depending on how good that piece of content is. So seeing how some of the metrics, like, you know, say how many people view, obviously, or, you know, are a big one, how many people are hitting the pages. But the nice thing is with, like, you know, analytics and stuff, you can easily tell what pieces of content are doing well on your site, how long people are staying on them, are they actually reading, are they going to other pages on your site after reading that content, like, are they interested in more? And then you can start fine-tuning that content. When you start seeing, hey, you know, there's a lot of bounce, people have hitting this thing and 20 seconds later they're leaving. Maybe we need to catch them with something up a little bit more above fold that makes them want to stay longer and read more. Basically, the people are the judge of that, you know, and we can start seeing what they're doing because we have the analytics and the metrics and showing where they are, what they're doing, and all that kind of stuff.
What kind of tools can you use to organize that data and actually make it useful? Because there's so much data out there, and actually organize it into something that is understandable, not only for yourselves, but a way you can just show the client so it's not super complicated and it's simple, and you can actually show that it's being impactful.
Yeah, I mean, I would say analytics is probably the best tool that you're ever going to find as far as what's going on your
Google
website.
Analytics.
Yeah, Google Analytics specifically. And the thing is, you know, most clients aren't going to understand Google. There's just so much. I mean, I know people who've done this for over 10 years and still have barely scratched the surface of understanding what analytics is. But there are some quick ones that you can really get to. Like, I usually have about 5 or 6 like things I'll go through when I'm explaining analytics to them and say, look, forget about all this fluff stuff that you're never going to realize and pay attention. Let's go check out the behavior, what people are, landing pages they're hitting on your site, what they're doing on the site, how long they're staying on the site, the bounce rate, that kind of stuff. And then just the traffic sources. Where is that traffic coming from? Is it coming from Google search? Is it coming from paid search? Is it coming from Facebook? Is it like all the different referral places out there? I mean, this piece of content, hey, look, it spiked these 2 days because look, it was also tagged in Reddit for those 2 days. And some of it has waves of, you know, it might not have a long shelf life in some of these, but some cases that's all you need, you know, for it to be effective. But I would say definitely Google Analytics and like fine tuning like specific locations, and specifically in the behavior and in the behavior sections and in the sources. So
as for Four Chord and your agency, and your focus in digital marketing, how do you partner with content creators, from the brand to the content creators? What is your involvement there, and how do you use the data to then drive more traffic and more engagement?
Well, first and foremost, you know, I try to like stick with people who specialize in specific fields. Like, yeah, this guy is a design guy, does infographics. Okay, and I'm, you know, and so, and I'll have a pool for just those guys, and then maybe a pool of videographers that I deal with, and video editors, and then obviously content writers, like copywriters and stuff. So, you know, I've over the years, you know, developed relationships with many different, and know kind of their strengths. So I'm not going to expect my video guy to be a great writer. I'm trying to kind of go with their expertise and then kind of put these things together. Like I'll kind of more like act as a project manager at that time and say, okay, this is the direction we want to go. This is what I need from you. This is what I need from you. This is what I need from you. And then I'll kind of be the master mixer at the end and put it all together in a piece that, you know, I think works well. Or, you know, also other web developers I have that I work with closely too, that have an understanding of how I like to go about business and how I manage that content. I'll give them the freedom to do that as well.
So you use your marketing expertise to kind of see the whole picture and then put in the talent and the resources where they need to fit, like, you know, videographers, copywriters, and place them where they need to be to support the digital marketing efforts from like A to Z.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, you know, I think that's important, like with any business, to know your strength. Like, think of it like a general contractor and then hiring out subcontractors. I'm going to have an electrician and the plumber and the drywall guy. Everybody's got to work together, but they all have their own specific expertise that lets the project flourish.
Totally. Well, and I totally see where you come from. And it's interesting because as I'm building content supply as a business, it's a similar approach, but it's on, I've been talking recently and developing the idea behind content ROI. But what that means is there's a creative side, and then there's a data side, or like a math side to the kind of the digital marketing echo chamber, or whatever you want, world.
Yeah.
In that way, where someone like you in Four Chord Digital is your expertise lies in the math side, the number side, the data side that really drives and measures the results. And then although you do have content knowledge, you partner with then the content or the creative to help develop and execute on the content. And it's really fascinating to have that oversight, whether you sit like for me, I'm more on that creative side or the content side, and you sitting on the digital marketing side and seeing how by necessity you have to marry the two together. It's not like
absolutely
on the content side you're doing it just for the creative experience, and like there's the artist on this side of it's like, oh, I want to create art just to create art. It's not it's not business driven, it's not sales driven.
No, that's
like
you have to find the balance there, because I totally get it. As a musician for a long time, and I like to play my music. I wouldn't want to go play cover music, but that's what was paying bills. That's what would, people want you to come to their party and play their cover songs. That's what they're paying you for. Oh, I like my crappy punk songs that I was playing, in the corner with my buddies. But at the end of the day, that's obviously why it also didn't work out as a musician. I had other ideas, and you have to really, and that is tough, because a lot of times when you have, there are different sides of thought process a little bit. You have analytical versus the creative, and I feel like I have like a little bit of the both. That's what helps me manage it correctly. But you have some people that are just creative, and they're all for the sake of the art, and they aren't really realizing how so if you make a suggestion to them, hey, I need you to make this change, like they get hurt. Like, this is my art piece that and the same thing on the other side, they got people that are too analytical and don't understand it all. Like, so you have to have really healthy marriage.
Well, and you're going to get nowhere, honestly, if you want to build a business out of the creative, out of the content. You have to have the math side, the data side, the business, the sales side, whatever you want to call it. There's all these different names for it, because your business is either going to fail because you lack in the sales driven aspect, or you're just going to kind of meander and not really have any kind of growth. You'll just kind of have that set mix. And I think there's still a disconnect with a lot of those who are the pure artists at heart versus those who see the artistic, you can experience the art in the experience of whether it's producing content or just doing that creative side. But inevitably you have to deal with the data and deal with and get partnered with someone who knows the numbers and knows how to put those numbers in action. And so you talked about how you deal primarily with local clients. Why the choice to go with the local?
Sorry, when I meant local, I didn't necessarily mean local like just Santa Clarita. I meant businesses that are local based businesses, so they're location based. Like, okay, they might be in Santa Rosa, California, but their business is pretty much, Sonoma County, Marin County, all that surrounding area. Like, so businesses that are local service businesses, kind of what I meant more of that, so like the plumber in Los Angeles or the locksmith in Santa Clarita, or, it doesn't matter. Like, they have a home base and they have maybe a service area of 50 or 60 radius miles or so. And some people have multiple offices, multiple locations, but
any location, it's just they provide their service or product to the local market.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
That's what I meant by that.
So tell me then more about with these locally based clients that you do digital marketing service for. Tell me about some case studies. Like, how does the work you do in digital marketing space impact their sales and their bottom line?
Yeah. So, there's, everybody there's different, I have like different packages and stuff I offer, but basically SEO and PPC are kind of my biggest ones. Social media also being maybe coming in third. But on the SEO side, that's heavily content. The PPC side isn't so much content. There's some initial content going into landing pages and testing different types of copy and that kind of stuff. But for maybe some additional video work on the paid side. But the SEO is probably where the most important, content. Having that really killer content is probably the most important part for that, as well as the social media. But when we're talking about the websites, it's all about, all right, what keywords we have to start thinking about, the words that people would be searching for whatever service that is. And then sometimes, people are in the industry have these industry terms that only people in the industry would know. And maybe not like the local, the person actually looking for the service wouldn't know. It's interesting enough, I was recently dealing with a company who sells like custom top-notch in wheels for cars, right? And I was always assumed they were rims. Like that was, and then it turns out that wheels is like a little bit more of an industry. They were missing out on like 40% of the traffic because they weren't even focusing on rims. That was the first thing I thought of. I'm not a real car guy, so maybe that makes But I was able to look at some data and say, oh, okay, well, all your content is all about wheels. It's great, custom wheels. Look at all this traffic you're missing out because you don't have anything about rims. And a lot of the average people are thinking these are rims. Like I would think the wheel is the rim with the tire on it and all that. I don't know. And it was just an interesting thing where we found a whole bunch of area where we could have really easy gains just by changing up some, the strategy a little bit.
Well, and it sounds like you have to put your mind in that of the customer and understand, that's what you did. You put yourself in the fact that I think of different words, or you have to dumb down the words or use alternative words to make sure that if I'm the customer and if I'm keyword searching or just searching for the product I need to find in order to find the right wheels, the right rims, or just that company to provide that product, you got to think like the customer.
Yep. Yeah. And there's also some really great tools that Google provides for that too. Keyword Planner's one, and then Google Trends is awesome. That's a really good one. Checking out Google Trends, because then you can actually see a couple different keywords, compare them to each other. What are the trends going? Hey, if people are starting to search for this instead of this, that's going down, this is going up. All right, we need to shift gears, But there's some really great tools out there that are free to like assist with this stuff. So you can start with some seed keywords, think that, okay, these are things that I would think of. And then Google tells you, well, people that are searching for these also are searching for these terms. And you get like, you're basically feed it some seed keywords and you get all this other data back of, okay, this is how much search volume is, how much there's, and then that's where you can start really developing start coming up with content ideas and developing content. Now you know what people are searching for, how much competition level there is out there, how hard it's going to get to rank. Okay, what do we need to do, and where can we find maybe some of the low-hanging fruit first? Maybe, and now people are searching so differently with their phones, and they're talking directly into Siri, Alexa, all those type of things. So now you're getting searches that are really long tail versus somebody who's maybe like just looking for a plumber in Santa Cruz. Rather than just plumber in Santa Cruz, it might be, I need a 24-hour emergency plumber because my pipe just burst at 2 a.m. So I'm looking for, maybe even talking right into your phone, find a emergency plumber open right now near me. So it's like a weird long tail phrase that probably hasn't even really been seen before in some cases, because people, talk to their phones so differently now. It's just changing the way searches. Well, now if you can start taking advantage of that, a lot of the near me searches are a really big time for the local stuff. So,
wow, that's really good insight. That is the power of voice is only going to increase. Obviously,
it's only going to get bigger.
Like written has its place, but you think of like Amazon's Echo, and from Siri on your phone to Echo or Alexa.
Yeah.
And that capability to tap into that AI, the intelligence that they can share that information, and understanding that process of what's required to come up in the search results and get that attention that you need.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sure the stats even bigger now, especially more with it. But it used to be it's 20% of all searches every single day Google never seen before.
Wow.
That's a big number. And that's got to be even bigger, I would think now, or at least, maintain that percentage because of the fact of the way people are doing voice search. They're talking to so differently rather than just typing in plumber, Los Angeles, or, they're searching differently. And I think people are using search engines smarter too. They actually understand what they're looking for. They might be a little bit more precise, but I think voice thing is definitely a game changer, I think, and it's going to continue to do so.
That's really interesting. So, How do people discover your services?
Right now, like that's the crazy thing. I'm a marketing company. I'm not doing any marketing for myself, but I mean, I have my site, and I do do at least stay on top of like social media and people that in the industry and stuff like that. But mostly just I've been doing this for so long that I've have contacts, and I also work like the last agency I worked with. I still have really good friends with them, and they will pass along stuff that they've gotten because they've gotten to the point where they do more traditional and they really love the production. They're into the video production. They do a ton of that stuff. That's where they really like their space to be. So when it comes to some of the digital marketing, especially the technical stuff, they'll just basically outsource it to me essentially, and I'll just white label my services for them. But most of my clients have all come from I've either worked with them in the past, they know somebody who's worked with me in the past. Right now I've had to actually, I'm at the point of having to look at how I'm going to grow and expand, because I always had planned, I'm just going to do this myself. Well, now I've got my dad involved. He's a really good WordPress developer, and my daughter, she's part of the business and helps me. She basically does admin stuff and work for like handles books and stuff like that. She's like OCD, and I take advantage of that. So her organizational skills are far better than mine. But I said it. Now I'm at this point where I have to think about growth and how do I want to grow and how big do I want to grow? How many people do I want to take on? Is it really going to be advantageous for me to do that, or am I kind of cool where I'm at right now? So I'm in this weird spot in my head where I think I'm going. I do want to take on a little bit extra. I don't want it to be huge though. That's one thing. I don't want to have 30 employees and have to work. Even if, I don't want the headache of that. I kind of like being like kind of do my own thing in my own time whenever, but I think that I could help some more people, more companies, and obviously people that would, working with me, being able to make some more money as well. So that would, I think there would be some areas I'd like to expand.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll probably come to me having to do some marketing too, and actually have some sales guy, involved if that's going to be the case.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And that's fascinating too, because I think there's so many entrepreneurs and companies in your boat where they have received, marketing doesn't need to be a massive push for their own brand because they receive those referrals, or they get that constant work.
Yeah.
And the need to expand. You're making enough to thrive, and to progress, and now you're looking to grow. So, as kind of like an parting thought to those who are just starting out or getting into building a digital marketing business, what do you recommend? Like, where do you begin? What's kind of a square or step one?
Especially in the digital marketing realm, like make sure you have like the proper, go to Google, do all the certifications you can get, because they have plenty of resources. And not only that, they do, if you can, I'm a Google partner, meaning I can do monthly get-togethers where Google actually provides insight into some of the products and the new stuff coming out to clients or prospective clients. You get it up in their directory where people are actually looking for someone, and you're approved AdWords certified, agency. They'll actually refer you business. I think that's a good place for people to start. So as long as you do this, and the tests aren't that bad, I think for the most part, you can knock them out in about an hour and a half, and but and I think they update every 2 years. You need to re-update it or whatever, but it gives you a foundation where people that don't know you from anywhere at least can trust that, you've at least passed the guidelines that Google sets for their own products, like, to use analytics properly. So if you have those, it kind of gives you that little badge of honor. I think that helps. It would help a lot of people in digital marketing, because a lot of people don't think about, no, I know it. I don't need to do the stupid test. And okay, yeah, but the person who doesn't know you doesn't know that about you until you prove, and then they're going to have to spend money with you, like, to test it when they don't know if you really understand the basics of it. So I think that's a good place to start. I think like with anything, just having integrity, it goes a long way. Just be honest up front. Don't try to tell somebody you're going to be able to rank them number one overnight or the next 2 days, or, just be honest. Say, this is what it's going to take. Here's what I've done in the past. hopefully you can, people that are starting this aren't just starting completely from scratch, at least have done something in this world before. Maybe it wasn't working for another company doing it, but like at least say, hey, this is the kind of stuff I did before, and here's what I was able to do. Like we went from ranking nothing in the top 100 results to we have these 15 keywords because of the work I did here, 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 here. Those are things that I think, go far in just business in general.
I like that. I like it a lot. How do you define success for yourself?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I mean, obviously, financial success is important enough to, be able to support my family, my kids, everything, my household. That's all that's important to me. But ultimately, I like being able to have like my time, because I play hockey, with my brothers and a bunch of dumb adults that are too old to be out there, and I like being able to have weekends away or go out, be able to take my wife out and go on vacations and all that stuff. Those are the things. Being able to do all that stuff is, and the beauty of it too is if I ever really needed to, I can pop over the laptop as long as there's a Wi-Fi connection somewhere. I can work. I don't have to sit chained to a desk, from 9 to 5 and do everything. Like some people have no problem with. I did that for a lot of years, but I love the flexibility. Now that makes have that flexibility sometimes means I am up at 3 a.m. working in the morning, and working on something that has to be done. So I take the good with the bad, and ultimately, if I can have the freedom to enjoy my life, and that's, I think, the most important.
That's solid. Well, Peter, this is awesome. Thank you so much for making the time. I know you're super busy.
No problem, man.
Yeah, you're staying busy with so many clients, and that's super positive. So, yeah, I mean, let's totally keep in contact.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. Because I know your skill level too. So your skill set, we could. I'm sure there's some way there can be some more synergy beyond these things. This is cool though.
Yeah, well, and it goes back to, I mean, what I was talking about with Content RI. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm at the point where I've been the creative guy. I've been kind of the artist side. Yeah. And I've to become more realistic to actually grow and provide even more results for the clients I do have.
Yeah.
It's I've got to pull in a numbers guy, like someone who knows data and who knows digital marketing. So
yeah,
when I do get to that point in the near future, we should sync up and talk.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll need that wisdom and that strategy pulled in from you. So
cool. And you got my information. Anytime you have like something pops up, you have a question about anything, feel free to shoot out, man. I'll I mean, I might not respond that second, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Trust me.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks, Peter. We'll talk soon.
Awesome, man. Take care. Bye.
All right. Cheers. Take care.